Precision, accuracy, consistency, and control can only be attained by constantly monitoring your game for weaknesses and for strengths. It is crucial as a pool player that whatever you do in practice, if it's working, you need to bring it to the actual game. Now, it's easier said than done because, of course, to perform at the highest level, you have to be in subconscious mode. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through 2 9-ball racks that really had a lot of positive that I can take from it. Now, of course, there's going to be some areas of weaknesses that came up that, of course, I'm going to be taking note of, and I'm going to actually be adding these to my game for future and better results. So if this is the first time here on the channel, do not forget to hit the subscribe button below, turn on your post notification bell, leave your opinions, thoughts, suggestions down below as it relates to how else you would have approached the rack. We're here to learn and we're here to teach each other. Now, we're going to be starting off, of course, with the 9-ball break, where for me, I've been getting some consistent results on my break for 9-ball. I've been struggling a bit with my 10-ball break, but definitely my 9-ball break has improved. Now, my primary focus here is to ensure that I try to go through the cue ball on the break, and I'm aiming at the 1 ball full. Basically, I'm aiming towards the first diamond on the short reel. Now, I want to get a square hit, but I also want to get a medium speed type hit. I don't want to blast the cue ball into the rack. Now, I got a nice little pop there, a nice pop break. It was in fact an unsuccessful break, of course. Here you're seeing on the replay where I get that little pop, and how I get that pop is that my cue ball, as you can see on the replay there, hopped up off the surface and landed just slightly in front of the 1 ball, which gives it that pop. Now, as it relates to whether a pop break is better than a soft break, I don't know the difference. I'm still investigating, but definitely once you get a ball down, you normally have the cue ball squat right into the center of the table, and if you're lucky and you get a good spread, you'll get an opening shot here on the 1. Now, unfortunately for me here, I did not get a ball down, and so the primary focus here is to try to devise a plan as to how I'm going to get out. Now, a lot of instructors don't really walk you through the thought process of what goes on in a professional mind. I've been watching pro players for a while, for a very long time, and I've been obsessed with how they approach the game, and of course that's my aim here and focus. Now, I have a nice opening shot here on the 1. You can see how nicely my stance is. My stroke is also very clean as well because I've been working on that. But here, pot the 1 nicely, stop the cue ball right in its position. I couldn't do much with the cue ball because of where I was aiming from and the angle that I had, so I had to mentally settle my mind here to have a slight steeper back cut on this 2 here. Now, it's going to make the position to get back onto the 3 difficult because I need an angle on the 3 to get back out for the 4. But here I tried to use a bit of check side. I didn't use a lot, hence why you see this cue ball kicking off the reel and coming around, which obviously caused me to have lost position here. Now, of course, in the actual game, in hindsight, what you'd like is to always be able to break and run, but situations like this is going to come up where obviously you're gonna have to be creative when you're playing this game. As you can see, the professional players is not all about pocketing. Now here I actually was watching a tutorial from a 3-cushion billiards, and I was using a particular system here, and I wanted to notice how I execute the safety here. The objective here is to get behind the 9, but notice here that I could have gotten a bit unfortunate. Here I tried to hit the 3 ball here, half ball, to cause an equal separation. But because I was playing both a cue ball safety and object ball safety, the 3 ball hitting into the 4 there did not hurt me much, because I of course got the cue ball safe. So definitely you guys want to add that level of thinking to your game, where when you're playing a safety, sometimes you can only play a cue ball safety, sometimes you can only play an object ball safety, sometimes you have to play both. But this comes with experience through practice here. Now I have a look here on the 3, but the only thing I have is a jump, and this run can easily be sell out. Now I know that a lot of you players do not necessarily like when this happens to you, what you're about to witness here, but sometimes the luck swings both directions. Sometimes you are you're getting the result of something like this. No pool player likes when their opponent flukes a safety on them. Now this is not a bad jump shot, of course it was an offensive jump. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to pot it into the side, but notice as I hop here, it hit the short rail, hit into the 8 full, and so there causing a fluke safety. Now this is not really something that I enjoy doing. I mean, I accept the result, it is what it is, but for me here, if this was to happen to me, it sometimes really pains my heart. But nevertheless, when you end up in situations like this, it's very important that you remain composed, and you have to depend heavily on your training. You can't deviate away from what you have practiced, because a lot of the times when players are like in a bind, they're in a dilemma, they tend to go back to bad habits. Now that was a fluke safety. I mean, at the end of the day, if I give up a ball in hand, it was just my opponent's luck, but I've still got to try to calculate. Visualizing the kick is good, but every table play is different. Humidity affects how the balls react when you hit them, the type of shaft, the type of tip. But one thing never fails is a system. Once you have an understanding of how the table plays, you are going to get good results. Now here I'm looking to kick behind the 8 to kick into the 3 ball. Now this is a system that I actually invented myself here. I'll leave a link pinned in the description box below, but I wasn't able to successfully make this kick because I ignored one of the variables here. I needed to add a bit of left side spin here. Now you'll see here on the replay, as I kick the object ball, it tends to go a bit long off the short rail, especially if you're playing on a slick table. It's gonna go even longer, so you've got to add that hair of left spin here to check it off to the short rail. Now a lot of the times that the angles that you get down on the kick, they are not perceived very well, so sometimes you make that adjustment when it's not necessary. But if you stick to the mathematical application of this, it never ever fails. Nevertheless, here my opponent now gets ball in, and after that fluke safety. And a lot of the times, guys, when you get lucky, you have to be able to convert the luck. Now notice that for the remaining shots on the table here, my pre-shot routine was very consistent right through. I walked around the table, I look at every shot, I look at every angle, I don't rush anything. And notice how my stroke is smooth. I'm taking ball at a time, a rack at a time, and I'm thinking about position at all times. I'm thinking about staying on the right side of the object ball. Now to get to this level, which is not a very high level as I said, guys, but I've come a far way based on the fact that I do not have a coach. We do not have a billiards academy in Jamaica. We don't have any of that. Most of the players here that are really good, they play off experience. They have knowledge, best believe, but we never had a billiards coach, and I had to coach myself to do a lot of the things that you see me executing here on screen. But here, as I said, guys, I'm just giving you all the tips and advice that I can give you. One very important fact that you must take from this video is always remain trustful. Trust your pre-shot routine, plan every shot, and you have to practice relentlessly to be consistent. That was a beautiful stun draw stroke there off the side rail, just using a hair of left spin here and using the whole pocket, as you can see there, to generate the tangent line angle that slides me up for the 9. Now notice here, even on the last shot, I don't just drop down and that slam the cue ball into the object ball. I go through the same pre-shot routine, maybe a little bit quicker, but I still go through the same pre-shot routine. So very good capitalization on that rack there by Apex Selenio. We're gonna jump right into another rack here, and we're going to be seeing where else we can find any mistakes that might be happening in our game. Now, I really like a calm practice day like this. A lot of the times when I get to the pool arena, I don't get a lot of chance like practice by myself because I do this in a public space, so it's a bit difficult to kind of zone in. There's always music in the background, but this was a Sunday evening and it was pretty calm, so you know, it's very good when we have this kind of environment. Now, I want to also take the opportunity here to mention to you guys that practice is not the same as the competitive arena. Your game will break down. You're going to be an A player in practice and you're going to be a B, potentially a C player in an actual competitive match. In fact, I have a video that's coming out soon, very soon, guys, where I defeated one of Jamaica's very best in a race 3. Now, that video is immaculate. The way how I went about going through my pre-shot routine, how I won that match was just strictly composure. It wasn't knowledge or application. Yes, I had to do all of that fancy stuff, but what was most important is that I had to hold my composure. Now notice how very calm I'm moving around the table. This is a very good trait for you to have even when you're under pressure. The calmer you are is the better your execution is going to be. So as I said, I'm on the quest, guys, to becoming one of the most complete pool player in Jamaica, but it's going to take some time. It's going to be a rough road ahead, as I said, but I've been getting some good results. My training is paying off, getting good feedback from the patrons saying that my stroke is a little bit better, my pattern play. I just need to get back out there, guys, and really push the boundaries, you know, because of course you can practice all day, all night, but if you're not able to execute what you're doing in practice, you're going to struggle more often than not to get the results that you're looking for. But let's continue the quest here, and we're going to be jumping into yet again another 9-ball rack analysis here. And of course, notice how I'm giving my tip there a nice layer of chalk. And of course, again, the aim here that I use, particularly on this table, the aim here that I use is to aim the 1 ball like I'm aiming towards the first diamond on the short rails. So that's giving me a square hit into the 1 ball, and of course get that little pop, score up the cue ball in the middle of the table is going to be the ideal break here that you're going to need. So let's see what the result for this break is here. That was nice, got a little pop there. Let's see what the result is. Got a nice little spread. Let's have a look at the replay. Let's see if we get the pop. Beautiful. That was a bit too much speed on that break though, because you can see that cue ball was a little bit out of control. Yes, I'm in the middle of the table there about, but that was as a result of just a couple of collision. But let's see here, not a bad break. I can see the 1, which means that I can choose to go offense or go defense. It really depends here on how I feel. I particularly am a very conservative type of player. I don't usually get down and rush. I normally tend, if I don't have an opening shot, I normally tend to try to look for proper defense. Now, the way how the rack is laid out here is not really advantageous for me to go for a safety. There's a combination on the 1-8 available. But the trick with this combination here from the get-go, guys, is not making the combination. It's actually keeping position on the 1 for the combo here. I think I'm looking at the 1-7, or is it the 1-8? I'm not sure. Now, you're gonna see a shot clock in the corner, as you would have seen in rack number 1, because I'm monitoring the time, the duration of my decision making on the table. Now let's have a look at this pot to see what happened here. Now I tried to go for the 1-7 combo. Not sure how I missed that shot. Maybe a bit too much speed on the pot. I was definitely trying to keep control of the one. I actually ran out of position, in fact. So I guess it's safe to say that that was a good miss, so to speak. But let's see here. Of course, there's nothing offensive here. I'm gonna try to go for a neat little defense here. Tried to wedge the cue ball up behind the 8, but I don't think my execution was very well there. The speed was a bit too fast. Definitely a sellout, obviously. But like in rack number 1, guys, you saw where one of the most important fact here is once you get an opportunity on the table, you need to capitalize. If you're capitalizing on your opponent's mistake, whether it be a safety error or a positional error, you're going to increase your win percentages here. Now here I have the 1, putting it into the side, coming out nicely for a look here on the 2. Now the 4 ball is to the left side of the middle of the table, and I have an angle that's leading me naturally towards the middle diamond of the short rail, or maybe in between the middle diamond and the first diamond. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of what we call side spin here. I'm gonna be using inside spin, probably one of the most difficult spin to apply, but I need to try to keep the angle that I have here. And you can see how it checked off the short rail and come down like that. Now I could have played for other positions, but like I said, the pros are going to take on a tough pot, and you're most likely going to sacrifice position for the pot. They will make the pot, that's for sure, but the important thing here is that they maintain the correct angle to get back onto the next ball here. Now you can see that I walked around the table and I looked at the angle that I needed on the 5, because the 6 ball is all the way down to the bottom short rail behind the 8. So I need an angle from the position that I'm at. I need an angle on the 5 to draw back for the 6 here. And that was perfect. That was exactly where I wanted the cue ball. Now I got a little bit over ambitious because, like I said, in practice I think a lot throughout the game, and one of the things that came up in my mind is the Dr. Dave Billiards draw shot trisect system here. Now a lot of players will just go down and be like, okay, Apex, you can just simply draw this ball back. But when you're talking about consistency at a high level, when you're talking about aiming towards a specific point on the table, things like these can happen, and it's okay for this to happen in practice. There you can see I had very good action draw there on the cue ball. Actually I didn't have enough, because I could have actually drawn towards the side rail, but the stroke was so clean and so pure that I drew it exactly into the pocket there. Now again, that's a big risk. Coming to the short rail should have been the option that I chose had I simply had no other option, but I could have drawn to the side rail and accept the angle on the 6. But again, as I said, guys, the learning process, these things are things that goes into your memory bank, and of course the most important thing here is to make note of your errors and mistakes here. Now I have the 6, beautiful draw shot there with just a little bit of outside right spin, maybe a bit over ambitious. Maybe I could have played a simpler position, not sure why I did that. But again, this shot here is one of my favorite shots. I got a little bit lucky on this one though, because you can see as I got down to play the shot, I knew that the 8 ball was a little bit big. So I had gone down, tried to apply a bit more side spin, but I still catch a bit too much of the 8 here. But I got a little bit fortunate by getting perfect position. Alright, didn't like the fact that I'm on the rail, but regardless here, this should be an out. And notice how I approach each shot. I give each shot the respect that it deserves here. And again, I'm using a positional system that I'm actually currently studying at the moment. This is a beautiful 3 cushion billiard system that can be used for safety, can be used for kicking, and can be used for position play here. And You can see how I treat the 9 ball with respect. A lot of amateur level players, once they see this, whether you're playing on an 8 foot or a 7 foot table, you go down and you smash it in. It's important that what you do in practice is going to follow you in the real competitive game. So ensure that you stick to a proper pre-shot routine when you're running racks, whether in practice or in an actual competitive game. So I hope that these 2 racks really showed you how to approach the rack a little bit better, guys, capitalizing. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial video. There's a lot of good stuff coming up on the channel, so stay tuned, hit the subscribe button below, leave a like, leave your opinions and comments down in the comment section. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.